Yes. It's hilarious. Elon Gold, why Jews are better off without Christmas trees. On YouTube. Thank you, Carl. So this week's Torah portion, Vayetzei, covers the first part of the journey of Jacob, our patriarch, fleeing the wrath of his brother Esau. Jacob is on the road back to the old country, as we say, the safety that his mother presumes of her brother's home. And of course, we know the story of Jacob. We heard Kevin summarize it a bit for us as well, that Jacob stops for the night and he has this famous dream of a sulam, of a ladder, with angels on it going up and down, and God appears directly to Jacob and makes the covenantal promise to him as he made with Abraham. You'll note that Abraham sees God panim al panim, or face to face, or at least speaks to God directly, not panim al panim. Moses is panim al panim. But Abraham speaks to God directly. But with Jacob, he only encounters God through a dream. And when he awakens with a start, he proclaims, Achen yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh. Surely God is in this place. It's the first half of the famous sentence. I'll get to the second half in a moment. According to our rabbis, this place was none other than that very same mountain that his father Isaac was nearly sacrificed upon, and would later become the Temple Mount. In fact, Maimonides teaches, and I just want to share this footnote with you, that it's universally accepted that the place on which David and Solomon built the altar, the threshing floor of Ornan, is the location where Abraham built the altar on which he prepared Isaac for sacrifice. So this place is connected back also and forward to David and to Solomon. It's also the place upon which Noah built an altar, and on that location where he left the ark. And it was also the place of the altar on which Cain and Abel brought sacrifices. And similarly, it was the place that Adam, the first man, offered a sacrifice there and was created in that very spot. So that makom, that place, which is now the Temple Mount, according to Maimonides, and this is, of course, Midrash, but is the center of the Jewish world in so many concentric circles of Jewish story and importance. So this is a pivotal moment because, as our sages will teach, here the young Jacob realizes, seemingly for the first time, that there is something beyond himself. God is present. Until now, Jacob has been either a lone actor, a clever operator when he was able to take Esau's birthright for a cup of lentil soup, or he has been in cahoots with his mother Rebekah, able to gain his father's blessing through the trickery of his putting on the coat and the furry arms. God seemed not present in the life of young Jacob, not until now. As Lord Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, I wish I could be Lord Rabbi. That would just be awesome. I got to move to England. I don't think that'll get me in. But why is this night different from all other nights? Forget it. As Lord Rabbi Jonathan Sachs writes, when Jacob wakes from his sleep, he says, surely Adonai is in this place. V'anochi lo yadati. And I didn't know it. Anochi means I. And in this sentence, it is superfluous. To translate it literally would have to say, and I, comma, I didn't know it. Why the double I? To this, Rabbi Pinchas Horowitz gave a magnificent answer. How do we come to know that God is in this place? By v'anochi lo yadati. Not knowing the I. We know God when we forget the self. We sense the thou of the divine presence when we move beyond the I of egocentricity. And it's only when we stop thinking about ourselves do we become truly open to the world and the creator of that world. And this was the idea that Martin Buber had when he articulated his understanding of Judaism and of human and divine relationships in the context of his I-thou relationship model. Buber taught that when I experience another person as a thou, and I have an I-thou experience with him, then he is not a thing among things, nor does he consist of material qualities. He is no longer merely a pronoun, a he or a she. limited by other he's and she's, a dot in that universal grid of time and space. Nor is he a characteristic that can be experienced and then described. He is not merely a loose bundle of labeled qualities, standing alone and whole. He is thou, and he fills my universe completely. It is not as if there was nothing but the he. Rather, it is as if everything lives in his light. This is true in the same way that a song is not merely a collection of tones and melodies, nor a verse or a mere collection of words, nor a statute a collection of lines. One must tear and break apart in order to make a unified whole revert back to its component parts. And so it is with the person who I call thou. I can abstract from her the color of her hair or her skin, the shading of her speech, or the aura of her personality, her graciousness. And in fact, I often have to do this to describe another person to another person. But as soon as I do that, she is no longer a thou, a whole and complete. Jacob's understanding of God in this moment is really an understanding of himself as being inseparable from the divinity that is all around him, and in fact, the divinity that's within him. When I was a teen on the March of the Living, and I might have shared this story with you before, but not in this context, I had what I would describe as an I-thou moment. When God was in that place, and I didn't know it until I realized that I was inseparable from it, and that God was inseparable from me. I remember the moment so clearly, and I don't remember a lot from being 18-year-old very clearly. But we were at Auschwitz-Birkenau, in the gas chambers of Birkenau, which had been destroyed. And the Montreal Girls Choir was singing. And they were singing Eli, Eli, and I had a friend in that choir, whose sister, by the way, lives in our community here. And the day was cold and crisp. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. And as they sang Eli, Eli, my God, it began to rain. It was a light rain, but it was clearly raining, and there wasn't a cloud that I could discern that the rain was coming from. And I felt in that moment like God was crying along with the rest of us. I felt in that moment that the universe, the natural world that was surrounding me was part of me, and I was part of it. The emotions I was having were being felt by the planet, and the planet was feeling empathy for mine. And when they stopped singing, it stopped raining. Now, unless you're a rabbi, you don't talk about I-thou moments very much. If you're a rabbi, they're all prologue for sermons, right? But we've all, I hope, had moments in our lives where we felt inseparable from the people that we were with, or the places that we were in, or maybe inseparable from the God of our own understanding. Moments that we couldn't dissect into their discrete elements and parts, but taken as the gestalt, as the whole, were profound and transforming. Mine was there, and there have been others too. The birth of my children, moments that I shared with my parents, experiences I've had with you that are just transcendent. And so what I want to invite you to do, because it's uncomfortable to share them even as it was for me to share that one with you, because you feel like, oh, this is very personal and maybe even unbelievable for some. But I want to invite you to reflect this Shabbos on your I-thou moments. To recall in your memory those times that you felt so closely connected to the world, to the people, to the environment around you, where they were inseparable from you. Because in those moments, I think that you will find God, a God of your own understanding. Jacob did, and on reflection, I did. And I think so can we all. Mana raha makom hazeh. How awesome is this place? V'anochi lo yadati. God is in this place, and I didn't know it until I realized it. And then I knew everything. Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Amen. I am slowly losing my voice, so I'm going to turn the rest of this over to Rabbi Brown. I don't know where my voice is going.
We'll turn to page 586 now